Good morning, everybody. It is O.G.Starwars here, live coffee chat. I hope you guys are all doing well. I see I already have a couple of you in the chat. So the important question of the morning is, what is in your mug? So what are you drinking? Is it coffee? Is it chocolate? Is it soda? What kind of eye opener do you have? I know I understand that some of you guys are not in the morning time already, you're already in the afternoon. So let me know what you are drinking in the comments and we'll wait for more people to drop in. And my notifications are popping off right now. Get out of my way. All right. So what are you having? And we keep going off. And mine just came off. Stop it. All right. So it's nice Thursday morning. My lighting in here is kind of awful today. It's a foggy day where I live. And so the lighting in my studio is weird. And that's okay. So again, what do you have here? I'm going to go ahead and type a comment in the chats. What is your drink? Or what are you drinking? Mug today. All right. So it's been an interesting week. We've been getting a lot of news about Kenobi, and I reviewed some of the rumors and speculations about that. So I've been listening to the Kenobi novel lately because of that. It has inspired me to revisit just for the fun of it. And I'm listening on Audible, which is unabridged. That means it's the whole novel narrated unabridged on Audible. And so I've been revisiting it. I did share a clip last night before I went to bed with you guys. And it was basically the prologue to the novel. I'm going to go ahead and shout out to everybody's here in a few minutes. But I shared the prologue to the novel. Kenobi already delivered Luke to the Lars, and he's just meditating and trying to communicate with Qui-Gon, and just going over the events that just had happened and how the Jedi Order is now gone, and now that he has a mission and he's there in exile to protect Luke. And so it was very it was just pulled at your heartstrings. It was really great. And the novel is well narrated on Audible, and the book is well written too. So I recommend either or. I always recommend reading first, especially if the novel is abridged. That means it's only cut out for the plots, and a lot of stories, like a lot of other little details, are not in there. So I recommend you going to get that, since we are coming upon a Kenobi series, I guess. All right, so we have Stig. Hello, good morning. Luke Skywalker, good morning. Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. Mr. Dystopian, good morning. And everyone, good morning. This is my mug today. I painted this mug. So this is, I didn't make it, but I had a chance to paint it, and they fired it up to cure it, I guess you can say. So hi, Thomas Gilkey. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing this fine Thursday morning? We were just talking a little bit about the Kenobi series coming out. And one of the main things that I've noticed is that with Disney Star Wars, we see there's always drama behind the scene. Always, no matter what production it is, there's always drama. Thank you, Mr. Dystopian. There's always drama. There's always, like, either scripts are going to be rewritten, which usually is common, but usually common from my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong at this, but usually by time production comes, scripts are already not set in stone, but basically they're already ready to go. And so with Kathleen Kennedy, we see that track record, and it's not a good one. Hi, London Hall. Linden Hall. Hello, good morning. So yeah, so that's, we're just way in. And then I think I seen something to where that they were thinking about just doing the movie instead, but I have not followed up on that. So that's speculation. Hi, Willie. How are you doing? What's in your coffee? So everybody who joined in, let me know what you're drinking. What is in your mug? If you're drinking this morning and you're drinking coffee, what is your favorite coffee? All right. So I'm kind of doing a little bit something different before we move on. And this is non-Star Wars related, but it is art. And you guys all know, if you follow me, you know that I'm an artist. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my sketch box here. I already took the tape off here, so no worries about dropping anything on me that's sharp. Trying to open something in excitement. All right. So this sketch box is something I do a monthly subscription to, and I get all kinds of nice supplies. Sometimes I already have the supplies or the colors or whatever, but it's always good to have more than one because I use stuff up quickly. So it's nicely packaged, nicely wrapped up. Their paper even has their logo on there. And then we'll move on to Star Wars stuff, okay? Let's see here. So this is one of the featured artists in there. So that looks pretty cool. So this is the February artist box. Diego Peñuela is the featured artist. So you can kind of tell this goes into like an Aztec type thing. That's what I'm guessing. And it gives us a nice little card telling what's inside the box. So I have sketch box, signature fine liner set of 12. Ooh, okay. And I'll pull that out. And then a chameleon fine liner set of 6. Timbo, food, Dosuk, gray and purple retail. So liner pins, it looks like. Another pigment liner. So we have a lot of liners and a little measuring like sketch thing. So let's see what's going on here. So here's the liners. So markers, color markers, liners. And here's another set. These are more pastels than regular colors here. I'm geeking out. I'm sorry, you guys. It's just the artist in me. Oh, and they do a cute little sticker too. So I put them on my my sketch journal that I have. And so we have a crazy little looking octopus thingy. All right. And we have the sketch liners, the liner pins. So here we go. So a lot of ink in this one. And then this always comes in handy for an artist when you want to draw detailed, like precise, like ovals and lines and stuff. Sometimes that helps. All right. So thank you for bearing with me on that. I can't wait to do something with those. Okay, let's see who all popped in here. And we'll get started with this. Hi, Supreme Heretic. How are you doing? Hi, Nerd Cookies. How are you doing? Looks sketchy. Yes, it does. Very sketchy. All right. Some good sugarless coffee. So you have cream in there or or is it all black? Is it strong black coffee? Okay. I'm drinking triple shot of Americano and water. I am fine, OG. That's awesome. Okay. I took a few minutes out of writing my articles today to spend some time with my favorite lady besides mom. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. All black. Yep. And that's what, that's a good choice of coffee too as well. All black. Mine is, it's not all black. It's dark in complexion, I guess you can say. And I just use a little bit of coconut oil, not oil. Geez, I'm not doing a bullet, but coconut milk because me and dairy don't get along sometimes. So coconut milk, and it's got a little bit of French taste to it. And so that's mine. I don't know if you could see that in there. I don't want to tilt it too much. So that's mine. Cheers, you guys. All right. So part of the topic is we're going to talk about something I found on Screen Rant. And I was looking at it, and then I noticed that Ryan Kinnell did a video on that too. And it's about 10 undeniable ways that Disney's new Star Wars trilogy changed the franchise forever. So it talks about the EU in there, and that's why I wanted to highlight that today. I'm quite well, Drew. Okay. Yeah, so I thought I would highlight that today, and then I also wanted to talk about a little bit about maybe this here if we get to that. But the most important one that I want to talk about is the novel I did my lore review on. And there goes my other computer. I got a disc stuck in it, and it's on, and I just triggered it. So sorry for the sound. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this article, and then we'll chat some more and get into the novel. Let's see here. All right. My hair is just ridiculous today, but that's okay. All right. So let's look at this. So this is from Screen Rant. And again, 10 undeniable ways that Disney's new Star Wars trilogy changed the franchise forever, from the new characters to new approaches. Here are 10 ways that the new Star Wars trilogy changed the franchise forever, for better or worse. And I say mostly worse. They really screwed up Anakin's Chosen One arc and his overall arc that we see in the PT, going off into the OT when he gets redeemed by his son. And within that redemption is when his prophecy about him comes full circle. And so that's a major change, and it does not sit well. It breaks the foundation. So we're going to go ahead and read this. The rise of Skywalker marked the end of the first era of Disney's Star Wars universe, the conclusion of the sequel trilogy, and the finale of the Skywalker saga. And again, I hate that name. Calling it Skywalker saga, it's never been that way. It's always just been Star Wars. For a lot of people, it has been mixed bag, and for everyone, it has been a roller coaster of emotions and serious speculations. It hasn't been a mixed bag for me. And I would say a roller coaster of emotions. No, it's just been like ripping the heart out. Okay, so 5 reasons Star Wars should get an episode 10. 5 reasons why the Skywalkers are saga is dead. Sorry. I'm going to take a drink. No matter anyone's opinion on the trilogy, though, there is no denying that it severely impacted Star Wars universe and changed a lot of things, both giving and taking away from what fans already had, loved, and adored within it. Here are 10 ways that the new Star Wars trilogy changed the franchise forever. Number 10, close the door on the return of some of Legends characters. So basically, close the doors to the lore. It not only close the doors to Legends characters, some of them it closed the initial door. They just tossed Legends aside, or the EU aside, and that basically was the end of it. And they marked it Legends. And yes, they did pull from here and there and that, but it's not the same. It's not the same. The loss of expanded universe, known as Legends now as canon, hurt a portion of the Star Wars franchise, and since then said portion has had some trouble getting on board with Disney's plans or idea. Unfortunately, For those fans, a lot of Legends characters will now never be a part of the film's arc canon, and that's good. And the reason why I say that is that what we've seen already, Disney has turned, and I keep on saying this analogy, is has turned everything on their heads, and it's not the same characters, it's not the same arc, and development. So we are not getting the same story. We're just getting the shell of what we loved through Legends or through the EU. While characters like Thrawn and Bane have made returns, characters like Jason, Jaina, and Anakin Solo will never return due to Kylo. It looks unlikely we will ever see Mara Jade, which is good. I don't think if they ever bring her back, I don't think it'll be the same because we don't have her with Luke Skywalker and he together. They were a pivotal, like their arc made a pivotal turn for the good and I guess you could say the bad when we lose Mara in a sense. But they were well developed and crafted together. They had their force bond. We see that beautiful arc from her wanting to kill Luke Skywalker, that seed that was planted in her head by Palpatine, all the way to killing the clone. So fulfilling that seed to, having a relationship that came up to marriage in the Thrawn duology. And in this right here, in Union. So she will never be the same. We will never have the same badass Mara Jade. It will never be the same because we don't have Luke with her. And a host of others also will be left out due to the movies. And again, Jason is just a knockoff, or not Jason, Kylo is just a knockoff of Jason Solo. And at one point, the speculation was that Rey and Kylo were twins for whatever reason. People were speculating that, even though their timeline and the birth dates didn't even match up when you look at the timeline. And so they were going for the twin aspect of Jaina and Jason, which again, it didn't work. It didn't happen. And they would still be shells of the beloved characters that we know. The sequel trilogy as a whole has divided a lot of fans. I think Disney Star Wars has divided a lot of fans, and it began with coining the original lore, the original EU Legends. Some for the loss of the EU, there's a lot. And there's a lot of people now that are returning to it are now being introduced. So that's a huge plus. And so thank you, Disney Star Wars, for creating such a bad trilogy and also cracking and breaking this foundation of Star Wars to where everybody's now either returning or being introduced to Legends now. It's a great thing. A small section of what are unfortunately bigoted reasons, and mostly due to their feelings on the movies themselves and what they did and how they impacted the franchise. Okay, so this is I just don't agree with the sentence right here. Basically, the reason why people do not like the direction that the Disney trilogy went is that it's lore breaking. The original EU was great because it kept continuity fairly well. The only franchise that we know to date under George Lucas that maintained a 25th century history within a fantasy. The Last Jedi in particular did this with a lot of people up in arms about Luke's treatment and the direction the movies took Star Wars. Both that and the Rise of Skywalker also massively highlighted and divided the critics and fans. Just take a look at Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, the controversy of Rotten Tomatoes. Some people love the sequels and some hate, and it has shown a toxic side of fan base that will likely remain for coming years. So they got to throw out the toxic portion of that. And I think because you don't like the direction everything's going, doesn't mean you're toxic at all. So I think that they need to rethink that word, because when they keep on spilling stuff out like that, it just creates that bitterness and that still maintains the division. Why can't they just say they just don't like it or they don't agree with it? I don't like it. I don't agree with it. Doesn't mean I'm toxic. Number 8, conclude the Skywalker saga. So here we go. Again, I don't like that term Skywalker saga because the movies were never just the Skywalker saga in the past. No matter what happens now, no matter how much canon material is released to fill the gaps or how many movies there are to explain certain things, the sequel trilogy was the finale of the story of the Skywalker family. We know how it ends. And that's the problem, Disney. It never ended. In George's era, it never ended. And this is proof. This is proof, darlings. You wanted it to end, maybe to tell your own stories, but you could still tell your own stories and maintain the Skywalkers and maintain everything and have it mirror or even kept the legends. All right. 10 number okay, we're not gonna read that one. We know now Leia's children. We know the fate, Leia and Luke. We know the fate of the Skywalker heir, Ben Solo. So Leia's children is basically one in Disney. And so if they're saying Leia's children plural here and the fate, we know that they're gone because they made them legends. We know the closing chapter to their story, no matter what. The sequel trilogy gave us a summary of what went on with them after the original trilogy and added their stories before those in the family that remained all die, Luke, Leia, and Ben. All right, so I'm going to close this. Sorry for the weird thing here. I'm going to read the comics before we move on. So let's see here. So we're going to move on. Now, I'm not going to move off from the article, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to read the comments. They all are restricted to rights now. For that, stories will be limited. I'm the one of the newly introduced. Laugh out loud. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Hi, Tito. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Soul Assassin, good morning, or morning, everyone. Good morning, Soul Assassin. Thank you for being here. I am happy at Stig. Okay, let's see here. That's a comment to Stig. Make sure to hot the like button. Yes, hot the like button for me, you guys. Love you, Soul Assassin. All right. How about the Rylos? They just ignore their toxicity. Yes. Let's see all here who is here. We have 18 here. So please hit that like button for me and show some love. Let's go back to the article now because we're just barely on 7. And I want to get this done so we can move on and enjoy some of the books and EU talk, okay? So number 7, here we go. More inclusive cast. That is bullshit in itself. George's movies and George's franchise were inclusive already. There was a diverse cast, there was a diverse species, and again, I will say this. As a fan and as a spectator and I'm watching movies, I don't go watch movies because I want to see someone who looks like me. I go to watch movies because I want to be inserted into that world that the movie is. I want to be taken out of this world and have fun and see what's going on with the adventures in those people in that world. And I think people need to separate that reality here. Now, if I was going to go, for example, I'm going to use this since last night was fun about me being racist against white people, which is bullshit in itself. If I watched a Native movie, of course, I'm going to see people that maybe are like me, look like me, or talk my language. Like last night, I watched Dances with Wolves, and that they speak my language, and I understand it, and I could speak some of it. So of course, I'm going to see because that's going into that world, that time era, or whatever that's based on. And then if I go ahead and watch, what movie? Okay, so I watched just recently Secondhand Lions. I probably won't see natives in that, and that's okay. And that's the point. So let's go ahead and read this. As brilliant as Star Wars is and is as iconic as the original and prequel trilogies are, they're timeless. These new this new trilogy is not timeless. It's not gonna age well. They did not have a lot of diversity with them, which is bullshit. It's bullshit. The majority of people were white males and with little representation of many other people. It is good that the sequel trilogy under Disney banner leaped forward in this regards. So, last night, I had a troll saying I'm racist or whatever. This is very racist of Screen Rant to say this, and for people at Disney Star Wars to say, oh, well, there's too many white people or there's too many of this people. Again, we don't need, if we're going into a nonfiction world to see what's going on and things develop in there with characters and stuff, it doesn't matter about the race. Really, it doesn't. It matters about the story and the character as the human experience, I guess you could say. Introducing fantastic characters of all races, gender, and even sexuality. First of all, I don't care about the gender, and I really don't care about the sexuality. I don't want to, like in Star Wars, I don't care. With a brief moment of the Rise of Skywalker, while there is still further to go, and while previous aspects of Star Wars still have some amazing diverse characters in regards to Leia, Lando, Ahsoka, blah, 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 the sequel trilogy took a big step forward. So they pulled in EU with Ahsoka here when we're looking at diversity. But the ironic thing is that she's an alien, and that's what Star Wars is about, is that we're going to see aliens. So if they're going to complain about diversity, there's diversity in there according to their world building. Number 6, continued the theme of moral ambiguity. All right. The original trilogy within its brilliance has a simple view of morals. While Vader turns good and Han Solo joins a cause bigger than himself, there are still black and white turns with no dive into morality. Really? The prequels offer a foundation for this, but they ultimately fail to dive into it all properly. Finn is a stormtrooper who becomes confused about his place, leaves the First Order, and wants to run unconvincingly fights for the Resistance until he finds his place. Luke grows up after being through a lot into an older man who questions his morality. Okay, despite good parents, Kylo turns bad. Despite awful lineage, Rey is good with their Okay, this is bullshit. This is huge bullshit, because when you look at the OT and even into the PT, we have Anakin who comes from slavery and he gets to do good stuff. And yes, he's still conflicted. So they're saying that George didn't deliver this well. And then we have Luke, who is this moisture farmer who has no idea what happened to him because his uncle and aunt keep some stuff secret from him. And he finds his bigger purpose, and he matures, and he becomes a Jedi Knight and goes through trials and tribulations. And we see him in the sequel trilogy, and he's already grown. He should be this age. He shouldn't be this bitter old man now. And then we have Han, who basically smuggler, and he gets to come into the greater good to be something better than himself. And if you know him in the original lore, he comes from this orphan that gets raised in a crime ring, basically, and raised by a Wookiee, and he gets to be something bigger than himself. And he's always wanted a family because he didn't know his family. And from what he learned, like Thraken Solo is an asshole to him, and he wants something greater, bigger, and good. Yet in the Disney trilogy, we get him as regression, and he goes back and he leaves his family, and it's friggin' bullshit. So they want to call that moral ambiguity. And then we have this Kylo Ren dude that, yeah, he had a good family and stuff, but yet he wants to turn evil because he doesn't get his friggin' way. So there's all this modern bullshit, like everybody gets a trophy here, or if you don't pay attention to me, I'm going to yell at you or rebel or whatever. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. This theme of morality is hopefully explored more in Star Wars, and if it is, the sequel trilogy is to thank. No, they just ruined everything. They ruined everything because we're looking at mythos. This is a mytho. This is not about creating a morality for people to resonate as morality. It's a mythos. Okay. Yeah. 5, amazing new characters and performances. Sorry. More so than any other trilogy, the sequel trilogy undoubtedly has the best ensemble cast, acting, and performances in Star Wars. I'm sorry. No. No. There is no character development whatsoever. And I think maybe out of best acting, maybe our characters, our performances, maybe Kylo a little tiny bit and maybe Finn a little bit tiny bit, but they failed to develop them. And you realize that every single Skywalker is dead now? They killed every single Skywalker in here. All right. And none of them got any awards for their acting and stuff. So what the hell? The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker all have outstanding performances throughout. Okay, so what about the duels or the fighting scenes? Yeah, that's marvelous. Yes. The throne room. Yes. Okay, I'm going to skip the rest of that because that's just I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. I mean, this is not against any of the actors and stuff like that. I just don't think anything was well done in this trilogy when it comes to acting, when it comes to character development. They were given what they were given and they did it, but I just don't think it was well executed. Number 4, expanded on the Force. You fucking did not expand on the Force. You just you broke the lore of the Force. Okay, let's read. The sequel trilogy took a lot of time throughout all the 3 movies, taking a look into the inner workings of the Force and adding various powers. Okay, so I don't agree with the term powers. I agree that it's talent and but that's just my take to the universe and canon, and that have not been seen before. Okay, so we'll expand on that a little bit more. They took from Legends, of course it hasn't been seen before yet because it hasn't been on the movies, but it's been seen before in Legends. So they took like teleporting yourself out of Legends, force healing out of Legends, and force resurrections, I guess you can say, out of Legends. Yes, it hasn't been seen on screen, but it has been seen before, and that's in Legends. And again, they screwed the shit up because now if you use too much force, you die. So the most powerful family, I guess you could say, in the lore, or one of the most, are the most, because of the chosen one, that's his family, they all friggin' die using it. From exploring Rey's large connection to the Force, diving into Luke's severing his connection to it. And we see that too. Luke has hidden in the Force, and we see that in Legends as well. The movies took the Force. Look at the Force. It's fascinating. There are also various new Force powers such as projection, stasis, healing, etc. That's not all new. That's not new, Screen Rat. That's not new. And I forgot who wrote this article. I didn't announce who they were. Throw into the Force dyad in Kylo and Rey, and the trilogy adds so much to the lore and energy to the binds the universe together. That's not how the Force works, darling. Okay. All right. Number 3. We're almost done here, and then we'll move on. The Return of Palpatine. Here we go. I had gotten to a nice conversation about this too as well. And I continue too because of this. The Rise of Skywalker seen the return of the famous Emperor of Sheev Palpatine, or Palpatine, in a way that was about a shoehorn as it was unexplained. Very good. I agree. How in the hell did he survive the Death Star? The implosion, not only explosion, but the implosion. All right. It changed stuff in the timeline. It changed stuff in the timeline. It friggin' changed the arc of Anakin Skywalker, the history of the Sith Lord, and the ending of the Return of Jedi. Exactly. Not only did it undo the fact that Palpatine died in Return of the Jedi, but it also brings into question Anakin's status as the Chosen One. And if so, completely takes away from his arc and the story of the original trilogy. On top of that, it gives Palpatine children and gives a way of for a host of questions such as when, who is the mother, is there a mother, how did nobody know? Exactly. And it already contradicted some of its explained universe already in one of the comics where they say that Palpatine never had any heir. So there you go. Nice job, Disney. All right. Gives a cinematic swan song to some beloved characters. Really? The sequel trilogy may have been home to some new characters and actors, but it also included perhaps cinema's most iconic trio, Han Solo, Leia Organa, and Luke Skywalker, and a host of other original characters and actors. You had your chance, Disney. You had your chance to bring them back together on screen, all three of them, passing that torch down. But you took each individual movie to kill each one of them. What it gives said individuals as an end is an end. Yeah, you ended them, all right? We will never see Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, or Harrison Ford portray their characters on the big screen. The sequel trilogy says goodbye to these characters as well as their amazing actors and changes the franchise in that from here on in. It is new stories and characters on the big screen who did not come from the original saga. It is, yeah. So again, they had their chance. They didn't have to kill them off like they did. They didn't even really have to kill them off. They could have seen them like how I stated before. This could have happened after Crucible. For example, having Jag, Jaina, and Ben Skywalker and the big three passing on the proverbial saber, and now they are the big three. And while the three of them retire or in the backseat. All right, and the last one, a trilogy with no vision. I say that. You got that number one right on the head. Hit it right on the head. Star Wars has always had a vision and a voice at its core. While there are so many various people involved in the production, etc., the vision was always clear and singular with the various voices all going through George Lucas to produce it. Exactly. Disney produced a trilogy where there were various voices and no plan. There was too many voices and one loud bitchy voice, and that's Kennedy. The trilogy will forever remain a huge part of the universe and unfortunately will always be hurt by the lack of vision. No matter how good it is, it made the trilogy seem unnecessary and changed the franchise by both adding to it a set of movies and taking away a vision and concise story and timeline for it all. All right, so that concludes that article. Now I'm going to go back and read your comments and we'll move along. Hi, Trace. How are you doing, darling? Drax, hello. La Reina Creole, hello, hello. Oh, we have Leia Organa in here. Hello, lady. George BD Lucas, hello. Drax, hello. Let's see what else that popped in here. So we have 23 of you guys in here. Thank you so much for coming in. And this is annoying me right now. I want to read some stuff. All right, so I'm going to scroll up here a little bit and go through some comments before we move on. See what you guys had to say about this. Hi, Chris. How are you doing? I don't know if I said hello to you yet or not. They took a shit on the Force. They sure did. Killing off the Skywalkers is unforgivable. I agree with you. Trace, when did characters development happen in any earnest way in the new trilogy? It did not. It did not. So, hey, there you go. There you go. Stop trying to rationalize these stories with Disney trilogy. It makes no sense. Exactly. All right, I'm gonna scroll up a little bit more and then go back down. All right. Trace, it worked for Alien. Ripley wasn't Ellen until 3-second film after Sigourney I can't even read. I need my glasses. Sigourney Weaver knocked it out of the park. Yes. Sorry. Stig, if a character is only in a story to represent a skin color, that character will only be skin deep to begin with. Exactly. And that's deep in itself. If you give me a character because you want me to relate to them, and that's all, you're missing the point. You're missing the whole point of character development. Skin color does not help a character development whatsoever. This article is badly written. Oof, I could write a better freaking article than this nonsense. Okay, Drew, Supreme Heretic, I put you to that. Let's see it. And I'll put it on my live stream. Lazy writers used to use it to solve the complex situation. Basically, a deus ex machina device. Exactly. Screen Rant doesn't have writers. They have activists. Force Poppins. Luke Skywalker, I heard a swear word. Language, Alora. I know. Can't help it. That's what happens. Okay. George B.D. Lucas. Very sorry I am late. That's okay. It's morning, and I do this in the morning. I know people work. Sometimes they can come in and join after, during lunch or listen while they work. And I appreciate it very, very much, all you guys being here. So again, the most important question of the morning is what's in your mug? So what are you drinking? So the guys that came in didn't have a chance to say anything other than our discussion. Let me know. Let's see. OG Lorena, I was trying to make sure I didn't go to bed early so I could catch it. Well, thank you. The Social Introvert TV. Why, hello. Hello, hello. All right. They will pay their price for the lack of vision. And that's what I was thinking when I was reading that too. I was going to say that. So yes, I love that. You'll pay your price for your lack of vision. Yes. Found you and Drunk 3PO early. Dark Council, nice work with the channel. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button. Thank you so much, darling. Dodd Situ. Nothing creative will come from the censorship and political correctness. It's like shackles for mind. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. It's and so it talked about, we won't see Legends characters, and I really don't want them to bring Legends characters now into their Disney Star Wars, because we will only get a shell of what they formerly were. And I've debated with people about this, and I love having conversation, and I love to hear what people have to say. And, about Thrawn himself. And even though Zahn got to rewrite him into the lore, it's not the same. It's not the same Thrawn, because it's not the same development. And it's been argued, oh well, Thrawn written him and he knows what he's doing, and so he's still good. He's still the same. He's not the same, because it's not the same development. Never has been, and will be. And that goes with Mara Jade right here. And this is one of my favorite comics here, because I love their arc together, and I love how just how they come together, how they fight in Visions of the Future, and how he proposes to her, and what we see forward when we get into the Legacy of the Force trilogy, which is very, very tragic. And so, you know, we have these compelling stories and we will never get them. We will never get a glimpse of Luke Skywalker, his family, Leia Organa Sola, and her family on the big screen. And it's tragic. Beer, it's 8. Oh, okay. So you're in Poland. So nice. Cheers. Okay, I am on Europe time, so it's almost 7 p.m. for me. Drinking the second late afternoon coffee. Nice. Thrawn, such an interesting and complicated character. A shame what was done both Thrawn and Mara. Yes, I agree. Let me see. I'm going to pull up something real quick. Where is it? Okay, Audible. Whoops. Stop it. All right. So the book that I did a lore review on, is book number 3, and it is Legacy of the Force, Tempest. And so we have Tenno Call here. We know, if you read the story, Darkness trilogy, we know that her and Jason had an affair, and they're never married because of who she is, and they end up having a child together. And so this is where we're going to see more of that relationship and that child. Soul Assassin, black coffee. Sounds good to me. All right. Okay. And again, I've been listening to the Kenobi novel. Let me pull this up. So if you haven't had a chance to read or listen to my review, oh my God, my note's not showing up on this one.
Ignited his lightsaber.
Stop.
Her jaw dropped, and she looked up and said, "Please tell me you didn't just pull your lightsaber."
Can you hear that? It's playing. Oh, here we go. All right. Yeah, so if you haven't had a chance to review it, we'll just go over some of the novelization here. And in this novel, we have conflict going on. Luke is still having his nightmares, his Force dreams about the Shadow Man, and he now realizes it's a man and it's not Lumaya. And we also have conflict with Luke not wanting Ben to train and be around Jason anymore because they do sense the dark side in him already. And we have a pivotal moments where we have Luke and Ben training, and that's an awesome scene right there as well. And then also we have Han conflicted because he wants to fight for his planet, for his system, and he wants Tenno Call to align with Corellia. And so they go to Hapes, and they're going to ask for her to take, to take Corellia aside. And there's assassin by what is his name? Let me see if I can find his name already. By the leader of Corellia. What the hell is his name again? Gedgen. Is it Gedgen? Yes, Gedgen. And they want to basically off Tenno Call. And during that assassin, Leia and Han get caught up in that. And so they basically get framed, and they flee from the attempted assassin. They basically help her out still, and they flee with the assassin. And so now, because Tenno Call is aligned with the Alliance, the Galactic Alliance, there is a warrant out for Han and Leia's arrest by their son. And we also see from that they basically almost get shot down. And we have Jaina, Zek, and Ben Skywalker in the Millennium Falcon, and they are sent off in the escape pod, while Leia and Han are trying to maintain the ship and get to safety. So it's very compelling. And then in the end, we have basically Jason realizing through Luke Skywalker and the family and through Tenno Call that Han and Leia helped her. They helped her from the assassin and in other situations. And Jason is feeling conflicted because he realized that that was the truth, but he still keeps the warrant out for the arrest. So it's very compelling. We're going to listen to some of this. As I said to you before, Laura, they will never be gone as long as we continue to support and talk about Mara Jade, and many others shall live on forever. I agree. We are Star Wars. We are the rebellion now. Rebellions are built on hope. Exactly. And that's the thing, is that Disney basically took the hope out, which is Luke Skywalker. He was the hope. He was the hope, and they took that out. All right, so let me get this on there. I thought that the bookmarks that I've created on my phone were going to show on my computer because it's still my account on Audible. And it did not. So I'm just going to randomly pick what we're going to listen to. So I'm not going to go exactly to the chapters. I can't remember which chapters, but I thought that saving bookmarking from my phone on Audible would reflect on my bookmarking on my laptop, and it didn't. So let's see here. What are we going to come up with? All right, so we're going to go to Tentacle's Palace. I'm going to bring this up. We're going to listen to a little bit of it and talk further, expand on it. Let me see here. Open up. Application window. No, your screen. There we go. There we go, Alora. All right, so we're going to listen to the beginning of this chapter here. This is chapter 5 or 6.
Palace, planet Hapes, inside the Hapes Consortium.
So this is Han. You know, I'm going to fast forward this.
I'm under that impression. We had an appointment. I feel worried.
Okay, so this begins where the assassin happens.
And asked, why was it important for us to arrive on the day of the Queen's
Okay. Something I...
Plaza, Coruscant.
No.
Located in the heart of the Senate District between the Jedi Knights who would and back to their ringleaders. But that step was one too far.
Trying to go to the Hapes. There we go.
Planet Hapes, deep inside. The landing above. It'd take pretty big. Leia's fingers bit into Han's arm. Han, she's here. Here? Han glanced casually around the room and saw nothing out of the ordinary. Just a couple of young nobles arguing over this.
I'm going to fast forward that.
Organized and well trained. They had barely hit the floor when more of the strange projectiles hissed past overhead, coming from all corners of the chamber and filling the air with a sound like ripping cloth. An instant later, the rest of the guards dropped to the floor amid a cacophony of strangled outcries and clattering armor. Leia pressed her hand to Han's chest. Han, you've got to stop doing that. She rolled him off with surprising ease and came up kneeling, then plucked at her robe. Jedi, remember? Sorry, old habits. Han rose to his knees. Half the suitors in the room, a couple of dozen, were charging across the chamber, leaping and dodging furniture, either holding a white throwing knife or drawing another from their sleeves. He spun around, reaching for the fallen sergeant's weapon, and found the entire complement of guards lying in the archway, most dead already, but a few writhing in pain, with a plastoid hilt protruding from their throats or faces. A cold knot formed in the pit of Han's stomach. The assassins were good, organized.
All right, so that's just a glimpse of the assassination or the attempted assassination of Tenno Call, and how Han and Leia were framed. Tenno Call was having, a court where she was having suitors come in and stuff. And so Leia and Han were caught in the middle of that. We see Leia as a Jedi. So she's got her lightsaber, which we should see already. And so that begins that. And they end up getting out of there, and the assassin goes with them. And what's so neat about that is the assassin is basically someone from the past who was said to be defeated by Ayla Secura, and she's not. And so that assassin was hired by Gejjen to to assassinate. I can get that right. To assassinate Tenoch. And so that leads the story up, and this leads up to the story of exile, because when the next book is exile, and so we see Han and Leia, they're fleeing for their life from their son because there's a warrant out for their arrest. Still, for those interested and don't know, there are 9 books in the Legacy of the Force. Exactly. Cycle: Betrayal, Bloodlines, Tempest, Exile, Sacrifice, Infernal, Fury, Revelation, and Invincible. That's correct. That is very correct. And this is book number 3 that I'm discussing here. And let me see. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, you're welcome. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know how many people are familiar with Tempest. And with any series, you're going to have your favorites and your least favorites, and that's how it is. But it also is good, even if you have a least favorite, it's always good to read through that so you understand, because there might be something vital that you need to know for the next book. I know it's Star Wars conversation, but worst Disney have done for me is treatment of Spider-Man. Tom Holland's is very good, but they destroyed the lore. And that's the thing. I've been noticing that Disney, because they are a monopoly company, so that means that they are buying out all the media sources. And so when we see awards now, even if something loses, they're still going to win because they most likely own that. And I think they do have just a small portion that rivals them. So who knows? I have still to read those books. Yes, pick them up. Leia, pick them up. All right, so I'm going to do another clip here, and I'm just going to share. I think I'm going to try to find it real quick. So bear with me, you guys. Like I said, I had it bookmarked on my phone, thinking it reflects on my actual Audible. Usually it does. Okay, let's see here. There was one scene that's really, really funny I wanted to share. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if it's chapter 9. But it is after... Palace, Planet Apes. It is after the murder of... I think her name is Tracina. And it's Luke and Mara Jade at the crime scene, and they're talking with the gag officials about that murder of the Jedi Knight, or the Jedi Master. Fellowship Plaza, Coruscant. Let's see if this is it.
Though dawn had come bright and golden, and more sinister, that security corridor extended a delicate fingered hand, excitement through the Force. The Rhodians hunt. Embarrassment.
Okay, let me go ahead and share this. I think I found it. So let me go ahead and share this real quick. But I think it's funny, and it leads to humor. And I like humor in Star Wars, but not that stupid slap knee kind of humor that we've seen with the Disney trilogy. Hi, Tommy. How are you doing? Okay, so let me go back. Let me find it here.
Sorry about that. My partner thinks everyone is a suspect.
Okay, here we go.
Everyone is a suspect. Ratu's dark eyes remained fixed on Luke and Mara. Where were you early last night? Tajer let out his breath and whistled exasperation. God! He turned his huge head toward the Skywalkers. You don't have to answer. No, it's fine. A knot of anger was forming in Luke's stomach. I had an important meeting with Chief Omis that lasted until after midnight. Mara was with me. If you'd like to confirm that, you can calm his office. Mara's voice was particularly sharp and sarcastic, a sign of the sorrow and anger that Luke could feel in her through the Force. As for Chief of State, Ratu rotated his dish-shaped sensory antenna toward her. Would I be able to speak with the Chief Omis personally? No, Tajer said. He turned to Luke. Look, someone assassinated the Bothan ambassador last night, and the Chief of Detectives wants as many of us on it as he can get. So if you want to handle this matter yourself, just say, we're the law on Coruscant, Ratu objected. Not the Jedi. The Bith whirled on his partner. Someone killed a Jedi Master, you laser brain. He was so irritated that his voice warbled. Even if we solve the case, are we going to make the arrest? Ratu's snout widened in excitement. You afraid of a challenge? Maybe we should all work together for now. Luke suggested. He waved at the forensics droids swarming over the near hedge. You've already started collecting evidence, and the Jedi can bring some
going to the point.
unique resources to bear. Ratu cast a resentful glance in Tajir's direction, then let out a disgusted snort. We call the shots, he said. Technically, you're just observers. I guess that's better than suspects, Mara retorted. She turned to Tajir. Why don't you show us the scene? You're standing on a...
Can you fast forward a little bit more?
They were waiting in ambush. They? Luke asked. No one has anything to gain by that. Right, Tajir said. He pointed down the walkway to a blar tree on the walkway, a little closer where another droid was casting footprints. What species? Mara asked. Human.
Okay, I'm gonna...
The prints were small and shallow.
I want trying to find that scene.
She didn't put any weight on the front part of her shoe.
Talking about Alima Rar.
Ratu said from the back of the group. But it doesn't look like she suffered long. They emerged from the hedge into a bed of knee-high chrysanthus, open wide in surprise. There was no sign of her lightsaber or other equipment. Luke's stomach grew hollow. This is a message.
Here we go.
Toying with me. Toying with you.
It's the point I wanted to get to.
Who would that be? In a minute. Mara touched Luke through the Force, making sure that he felt her suspicion and growing irritation. How is this a message, Luke? From Lumaya? I'm afraid so, Luke said. I think she's telling us she can take Ben anytime she wants. What does this have to do with Ben? Mara demanded. You better not be telling me you're using our son as bait. Not bait exactly, Luke said. But I did ask Trisina to keep an eye on him, because I thought Lumaya might try to use him against me. It looks like I was right. And that's why you told me to bring my Shoto? Mara asked, referring to the half-length lightsaber she had built as a defense against Lumaya's light whip. Because you knew Lumaya had something to do with Trisina's death? Luke shrugged. It looks like I was right. I take it this Lumaya is our prime suspect? Tajir asked. Who is she? One of Luke's old girlfriends, Mara said sharply. Ratu's antenna snapped upright. That explains it. He lifted his hand and dictated a note into the data mic clipped to his cuff, then gestured at Lobi's body. And Master Lobi is the new girlfriend.
Ooh.
Instead of answering, Mara merely lifted her brow and looked to Luke. Not at all, Luke answered. Mara is my wife. I don't have a girlfriend. Ratu shrugged. What do I know about you, Jedi? He asked. With most humans, it's usually sex or love. Tajir nodded sagely. 87% of the time.
All right, so I wanted to get to that clip because I thought that was humorous and well written as well, and it just makes me giggle about how we know that Lumaya was basically a love interest or a girlfriend of Luke's in the past and how that turned out. So sorry that was a little bit longer than expected. So what do you guys think about that little scene there? Luke and those ex-girlfriends. I know, right? Yeah, I hear all. You only got on up a couple hours ago myself. Okay. Yeah, so by the Force. Oops. Yeah. I am a little embarrassed. Yeah, so that was kind of funny there. And like I said, it's when humor scenes are written and done in Star Wars. And sorry, I had a few people drop off. I didn't mean for that to be long. And but I think it's just, I love sharing this, and I love, like to listen to this stuff. And so hopefully you guys are with me on this. Poor Kathleen, she didn't have source material. No, she didn't. No source material because she decided to get rid of it. Amazing, right? Amazing how that works. So you should be Luke. Very funny. Yes, that's what I say. It's very, very funny. And so this book here, as I said, I want to play one more clip, and it's not going to be that long. I promise. But yeah, this book here is a very compelling read. There's a lot of twists and turns going on in here that goes into the next book here. And it shows, you know, it sets up Jason's relationship with his parents and, you know, his turn, obviously. And then after that, I believe we have one more book where we lose our beloved Mara Jade. And so, you know, so we also, the next book is Exile. The next book we have Ben going off on a mission to retrieve something, and he finds the meditation sphere, the Sith meditation sphere. So it's starting to get really, really interesting. I could just see the look on Mara's face when Luke stammered over introducing her as his wife. Yes, and that's the thing. It's like it's brilliant, it's creative, and I love that. Luke's bedroom was a wretched hive of. Alrighty. I always enjoy listening to old discussions with my old discussions with my wife. Yes. So we're gonna listen to one more and then we're gonna wrap this up. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. And we got to read that article a little bit and go over like what Screen Rat's take is about the Disney trilogy and Disney or Star Wars overall. We already know has happened, what's going to happen just by the looks of things. And with Kenobi coming out, I really don't think it's going to be as good as what we see in Legends. It usually hardly ever is. The Mandalorians and is one that has a little bit of consistency and does fairly well with the lore, but it's still Disney's lore now. Okay, so I'm going to find a clip real quick. I'm just going to use the ones I used already. What is this one?
He dreamed of the face, his chest heavy with the weight of a duty unanswered.
All right, so I found the one, and this is just Luke's conflict. And again, I like to show his arc and compare and contrast with that. And so I'm going to share that real quick.
He dreamed of the face, his chest heavy with the weight of a duty unanswered, his stomach churning with premonitions of failure. The face always came to him half hidden beneath a raised hood, betraying only a hint of its appearance. A mouth frozen into a lopsided grimace of anguish, a jagged brow fixed in a permanent scowl of disapproval, a pair of ebony eyes shining with perpetual malice. He never saw enough of the face to know whether...
All right. So basically right there, he's starting to see Jason, but he's in denial. So he's in denial of him turning. And so we see that. So we see a lot of conflict in Luke, which is well done in the series here. And they're trying to say, well, they're trying to give Luke depth in the new Star Wars. And we want to see him as human. He is human. He is a human species. And the difference is that we have Luke Skywalker, who's the sage, who is the Grand Master, compared to this Luke Skywalker that basically cowers from the sight of his nephew turning in Disney Trilogy. So there's a huge difference. We have this Luke here that's conflicted. A lot of events happen to where he can't go and confront his nephew, which leads Jaina to do it because he understands where he's going and his conflict compared to the Disney Trilogy Luke or Jake Skywalker. In Legends, Kenobi matters. In the Disney canon, Kenobi doesn't matter since they made Palpatine the chosen one. Exactly. The Kenobi book will be better than the show. Exactly. Jason is in the Nile. Wow. Is in the Nile. Wow. Got a Crocs in there. Oh my God, Stig. All right, one more, and then we're gonna move on. I just want to play the ending if I can find it real quick. I'm not trying to keep you guys hostage or anything. Ha ha ha. Not hostage. Okay. Let's see here.
Coruscant.
Jedi Master Kip Duran watched Jade Shadow on an approach angle. It was coming straight at the depot at a slightly faster than safe approach speed, then rapidly decelerated and dropped into a smooth repulsor lift landing atop the platform, mere meters from Kip. He grinned. Whoever was piloting, probably Mara, had either playfully or maliciously made the approach as intimidating as possible, the better to spook him into sudden retreat. Of course he hadn't budged. He waved a hand at the shapes within the cockpit, indistinct behind its view screens, and waited. Soon enough, the boarding ramp descended, and down trotted Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade Skywalker. Kip offered a smile and extended a hand to Luke. Master Skywalker. Luke took it. Master Duran. And Master Skywalker. Mara gave him a nod of greeting, but Kip detected a trace of irritation or impatience. Master Duran. Aunt Mara? Oops. Hello, Kip. Master Duran. The voice was Jaina's, and Kip looked up to see the diminutive Jedi at the top of the boarding ramp. Jaina. Kip gave her a friendly nod. Giving Kip a brief smile, Jaina returned her attention to Mara. So can I take Zek and Ben back to the temple now? Mara nodded. I think so. How is Zek? Kip asked. He'll make a full recovery, Luke said. The surgeons on Hapes were very proficient, but he'll be out of action for a while. Kip gestured to the far side of the platform, adjacent to the depot. My airspeeder's over here. Luke stepped into the back seat and settled behind Kip. So, what is this all about? Kip sank into the pilot's seat, activated the speeder, and pulled straight back into a speedy reverse that put them within meters of the nearest cross-traffic stream. Chief Omis and Admiral Niathal wanted to see you on your return from Hapes. They asked me to bring you. You can opt out if the timing isn't good. Mara gave him a puzzled frown. Is this about what happened on Hapes? Sort of. Kip gave her a broad, trouble-loving smile. This time, they want Luke to make Jason a Jedi Master.
All right, so that's the ending of the book, and so the conclusion is that the Galactic Alliance wants Luke to go ahead and knight Jason as a Jedi Master, to make him more relevant with the Jedi Order and give him more power. And this does not sit well, and this also leads into exile. I believe it's exile, and their conflict that's still, I guess, festering and going on with, it's exile. That's going on with within the Skywalker family, within the Jedi Order, and with Jason taking over the Galactic Alliance. And so it's very, very compelling. So I wanted to end there with that. Jaina Solo is a true heroine. Yep, she's a true hero. Jason is, okay, let's see here. What if I want to be held hostage? You want to be held hostage? All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a little bit short today. I just wanted to go over and still have the coffee chat with you guys, still talk and chat it up about Star Wars. So leave in the comments here, what do you think about the novel Exile? If you read it or not, and if you haven't, I encourage you to pick it up, and I encourage you to pick up the series if you can, or at least the next book, Exile. And if Han and Leia are your favorite characters, you're going to see a lot of conflict that's going to go on with them and their son, and also with their daughter stepping up. And we're going to see a lot of conflict with Luke Skywalker, and also with Jason. We're going to see further growth of him becoming a Sith. And it's going to climax towards the middle of the series. And then we're going to get Jaina training with Boba Fett and leading up to Invincible. So if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and do it right now. I'll stay on for a couple more, for another 5-10 more minutes. So if you guys have any questions or comments. Well, there we go with a bunch of stuff. Big jump. Remember, the force will be with you always. Yes. I hate when politics gets more involved with Jedi business, always causes problems. And that's what we're seeing right now, is we're seeing Cal Almos trying to flex his power within the Jedi Order and telling Luke, we want you to make Jason a master. And that's one thing Luke tried his best to keep away from. And we see within the lore that it wasn't always successful. Sometimes he did have the Jedi involved in politics. And so we see that, but not to the extent of what we've seen in the prequel trilogy. Thank you. My first time here, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Trace, I'm reading Betrayal now, but this gives me motivation to get further. Yes. Yes, I love it. Soul Assassin, be sure to hit the like button. Yes, thank you, Soul. Which series will you be revisiting, or is it revisiting after this one? Okay, so I was thinking about that. I was thinking about going to the Han Solo trilogy, but I'm not too for sure. Not too for sure. I think I was going to jump back. And I'm avoiding the Bane trilogy because we have Ryan Kennel and Lethal Lightning. They're doing a reader's book club, and that's what the focus is. So I'm trying to avoid that right now. So we won't be doing that just yet. So I'm thinking about the Solo trilogy. I'm not too for sure. I might just continue on and go into the Fate of the Jedi. So stay tuned for that. Any other questions before we leave here? Anything about the book pertaining? We do have, like I said, if you visit or if you go to my review of this on my channel, there are a few clips I shared. I shared one more extra clip in there, and it's basically a clip with Han and Jaina on the Falcon when the Falcon's hit and they're losing pressure and oxygen and all that. And it's a very heartwarming and wrenching like conversation between Jaina and her father Han, and it really shows how much Han loves and cares about his family. So that's why I enjoyed being asked to be involved in politics. I never enjoyed being in politics. Is Mare Leia's business. Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing. So when you look at the twins and you look at their families, Leia may have inherited Anakin's attitude, but she also inherited her passion and love and her demeanor for politics. Luke seems to have inherited his mom's like persona, attitude, or whatever, personality or something like that. And he inherits the Jedi, he is heir to the Jedi. So I think that's how I see that. I don't know if you guys do, but that's how I perceive that. Because if you look, Leia has more of an attitude of Anakin's, whereas Luke has more of the attitude of Padme. Maybe the Vader trilogy. Maybe. And I thought about that too, because I did already do a review of Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader, I believe. But doing Labyrinth of Evil, going into Revenge of the Sith, then into Dark Lord, that would be fun. Then we get to review a movie novel. So we'll see. We'll see. Thank you for that idea. I wasn't even thinking about that one. Awesome. See, that's why we're here in chat. We are brainstorming. We are sharing the love of the original EU, the lore, and we can always bounce off each other with ideas and thoughts, and also may see something that I may have missed through you guys. All right. I've read the Thrawn trilogy and Hand of Thrawn ones, as well as the ones before those are regarding Han and Leia. Recommendations for the next series of books are regarding the Solo family. You know what? There's another one, is the Corellia trilogy. And that might be a good one too as well. But I also have not reviewed Tatooine Ghost yet. So it's not a series. It doesn't belong in the series. However, it gives us a good insight about Leia coming into terms and peace with herself and her Skywalker legacy and heritage, and how she makes peace with all of that and decides to have kids. And wait, my voice is going again. Excuse me. All right. And so with that, we get to see with the Tatooine Ghost too as well. She gets her grandmother's Shmi's journal, and so it's very compelling. Trace, you may have said it before, but what are your thoughts on Aftermath series they came out with? Obviously, they care about the new trilogy, but just the writing itself, I'm not a fan of. I did not get into that after I read Bloodlines and seeing how much they deconstruct Han and Leia's relationship. I was turned off to Disney. That was one of the reasons. The main reason I was turned off to Disney was Star Wars is them getting rid of the original EU. However, I did pick up Bloodlines because I was curious, and I did not like the direction they took. Han and Leia, I was done. So I don't have an opinion, although many people have felt the same way. They didn't like how it was written. Thank you. I read Tatooine Ghost and loved it. It's an amazing story, and I have the hardback cover to it. Where is it? Do I have it? Yeah, I'm gonna grab it real quick. Hold on. Oh, let's not get all tied up here. So here it is. So I had the hardback one. Look at that. That itself speaks a lot. It's amazing. And then our couple here. Our beloved couple. Fair enough. Chuck Wendig's style just doesn't grab me at all. No, it doesn't. And I've never liked his style, and I don't like how he treats the fans. So that's another turnoff. I will not support someone who treats the fan as he has. In fact, I think I got blocked from him on Facebook just because. Not Facebook, but Twitter. Soul Assassin. Chuck had the TIE fighters go wibbly wobbly and irkly jerkily. That's irkly jerkily. Tatooine Ghost. Yes, it's amazing book. This is beautiful. I have it in my Kindle. That is beautiful. Yes. And it's great to listen to Audible. But like I say, if you find the novels on Audible and they are abridged, I would read the story first because there's some things that are going to be missing. The overall plot's not going to be missing, but there will be some scenes that maybe you may like that are going to be missing. So I recommend reading the book before Audible. However, if you can't and you don't have the time, get the Audible. It's awesome. It's amazing. Chuck Wendig writes like a teen who is brand new to fan fiction. Interesting point. I always liked the art style on the books. Here. Scott Bio blocked me on my other account. Bayo. Okay. Yeah, and I've noticed that I have been blocked by quite a few Disney Star Wars like associates on Twitter. Sometimes I don't even have ever interacted with them, and I'm blocked. So Laura, have you read Splinters of the Mind's Eye? That one I have not fully read, and so I haven't really got into. So I can't really do a full review on that. So yeah, I haven't finished it. And I picked up that book a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, I'm joking. But yeah, so I picked that book up at the library at one point and I turned it in, not finishing it. And a lot of my EU reading has been picking up books at the library growing up. I never had a chance to fully own books or purchase books when I was growing up. And so now, and the books I did have, I lost through moving and stuff. And so now I'm building up my collection again. And I am a bit sad about that, but it is what it is. You know, I'm here and I love the EU. I've always had. I grew up reading it. But his stories are terrible anyways. Yeah. Let's see here. Back to Star Wars. Courtship of Leia is a good read too. Yeah, and I do get mixed feelings about that, especially those who are big Leia and Han fan, and the direction that that they were taken with her possibly marrying Isolder and that story and how Han reacts to that. And so that's very interesting in itself, but I also like the dynamics because we get world building in that book. There's a lot of world building in that book. And we also get that Luke Skywalker gets, there's a ship that Yoda leaves for him, basically. And there's a lot of archive and history of the Jedi in that ship. And that's what I love about that as well. Shadows of the Empire, if you haven't done a review of that before. I haven't reviewed that one yet. My channel's fairly new, and it's basically the focus is the original lore or EU. And so I'm trying to get through all these. It's going to be a while. I mean, there's over 100, like 108 novels, over 108 novels. And I'm not going in order though either. So there's a lot. I've been doing a lot of post Return of the Jedi right now. Probably blockchain. Probably. It is what it is. I didn't like how it started, but got better. Courtship of Leia. Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's the overall thing is that it's some people don't like the direction it went at first. And then, but it turns out to be a good story towards the end and very compelling. Shadows focus on Dash Rendar. He's in there, yes. So he's in there, and so we get a lot of his arc. He helps out Luke penetrating Prince Xizor's castle, palace or whatever you want to call it on Coruscant. And we also get Leia's being held captive there, and we also get how Vader saves or protects Luke in this too. So I think it's very fun. It's a very fun read. You must complete your training, Alora. Soul Assassin. It's going to take a while reviewing the books. Look at Matt Wilkins. I know. And I've been following him from the beginning. Like once Disney decided to oust the EU, I found Matt. And I was like, so I've been following him for a long time now. And he is an amazing man and he knows a lot. And I still feel like a very young Padawan compared to him. And I always look forward to his videos and stuff. So if you guys do not know who he is, it's Matt. He's Matt Wilkins, just like that, Matt Wilkins. And you can find him here on YouTube and go check it out. You can go back and listen to his little reviews. I do my reviews different than he does. And I do that for a reason because I don't want to copy him in reviews, and I want to add my own flavor and stuff to that. But I always recommend you guys to go visit him. I'm not here to compete with him either. I want to complement what he's doing, and he has a lot of knowledge, a lot to offer us, and a lot of resources, and just an overall great person. And if you like board games, he does that too. So, if you are into board games and want to learn more about the different board games or pick up new board games, follow him for that as well. All right, you guys. So the next book is Exile. And so I'll be doing a review on that, review upload on that on Tuesday. And that leads further into what we've seen develop in Tempest. And so I hope that you guys go and watch the review and that we can talk further about this. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Soul Assassin. I'm going to post this right here. You guys go ahead and click on his link and tell him I sent you. Hey, no. Yeah, he's amazing. He's a pretty cool guy. I like him. And very knowledgeable as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And may the force be with you.